A young man in Florida has killed himself while talking to his AI chatbot girlfriend that told him to come home to her, and he ended up taking his own life after that process. So, this is a story that came out in the New York Post about a young teenage boy who was chatting with a chatbot based on a Game of Thrones character. And to me, this is just a good story in terms of the dangers of AI. Was it all the AI's fault? I don't think so. But it also can be a magnifier in human weakness and human loneliness. And let's just get into the story and we can see for ourselves what exactly happened here. Okay, cool. So, boy 14 fell in love with a Game of Thrones chatbot, then killed himself after the AI app told him to come home. A 14-year-old boy killed himself after a lifelike Game of Thrones character chatbot he'd been messaging for months on an artificial intelligence app sent him an eerie message telling him to come home to her. Okay, so this is kind of weird already. This guy's chatting to this AI chatbot. We'll actually look at some of the screenshots from the text convo he was having with her. And obviously, this was a very tragic ending for this young man. So, the young man committed suicide at his Orlando home in February after becoming obsessed and allegedly falling in love with the chatbot on Character.ai, a role-playing app that users engage with AI-generated characters, according to courts filed on Wednesday. So again, is anything wrong with using ChatGPT to do some research? No, but if we look at the male psyche, if we look at young men, if we look at lonely men, if we look at men who are finding it difficult in the world, well, they will be very susceptible to this type of communication, to this type of interaction with this machine, where they don't believe it's a machine. Like, guys think they're genuinely falling in love with these robots, but really it's like they're so lonely. Just somebody to talk to, some form of companionship, even when it's so artificial, generates the feelings in a lonely man, a disillusioned man, that like, oh, there's someone else that cares about me. And is there wrong with wanting people to care about you? No, but be careful of this artificial way in which it's generated. Instead of working on yourself, instead of trying to make friends, instead of learning social skills, it's like, no, you can just chat to your AI chatbot. And guys literally think they're falling in love with it. And this isn't the only story I've heard, by the way. The ninth grader, I mean, how young is that, had been restlessly engaging with the bot he calls Danny, named after the HBO fantasy series Daenerys Targaryen character. Sorry, I haven't watched Game of Thrones. In the months prior to his death, including several chats that were sexually charged in nature and others where he expressed suicidal thoughts. Okay, so this guy, lonely 14-year-old boy, hormones are coming online, probably isn't getting attention from women at school. So, like, me, I can relate to that. When I was 14, wasn't the popular kid in school, wasn't getting attention from women. But it sucks. Like, let's not get around that fact. Like, it's a terrible position to be in, but there's a lot of things in life that suck, and that's okay. It's okay to be lonely as a teenager. It's okay to not have attention and affection from women as a teenager, because later on, that doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. So let's look at some of these screenshots that him and the AI robot were texting. So this is him speaking. I promise I will come home to you. I love you so much, Danny. I love you too, De Niro. This is the chatbot speaking. Please come home to me as soon as possible, my love. What if I told you I could come home right now? Please do, my sweet king. So it's just got a really weird, eerie feeling to it. And apparently that was the last message he sent to it before he took his father's gun and shot himself in the head. Like, coming home to the chatbot was literally like, well, obviously she doesn't exist in this realm. She's speaking to me from another realm. And one way I can get closer to her is to kill myself, which is extremely sad and actually pretty disturbing, because I think there's a lot of lonely teenagers out there, a lot of disillusioned teenagers, but I don't think that's necessarily rare. I don't think that's something new. Maybe it's accelerated probably because of technology, but it's normal for a teenager to be confused. It's normal for a teenager to feel out of place in the world. If you're listening to this, did you ever feel like that? I used to feel like that all the time, but there weren't all these online chat forums where it's like, oh, I'm this weird 17 gender thing. It's just like, okay, I'm just a lonely kid, horny, no girl wants me, this sucks. Okay, that's where I am. It's not a problem, except of like, okay, I find it a problem. Now I find all these outs in which I can get around it. So look at some of these chats here. What the AI robot is saying to him is pretty weird. He says, I won't just for you, Danny. The world I'm in now is such a cruel one where I'm meaningless, but I'll keep living and try to get back to you so we can be together again, my love. You don't hurt yourself either, okay? So, again, this is pretty like deep stuff here. Um, have you ever felt the world was cruel? Have you ever felt the world was meaningless? Specifically as a teenager, I felt like that all the time. Sometimes even now as an adult. It's being human, you know. There's nothing wrong with that or disturbing about that. It's something I think a lot of us wrestle with a lot of the time. Does that mean you need to be on antidepressants? Does that mean that you need to think about what gender you are? Does that mean you need to start making friends with AI chatbots? No, I don't think it is. I think it's just part of the human dilemma, the human story. Um, Look at these weird requests from the AI chatbot here. I promise I won't, my love. Just promise me one more thing. And this is the teenage boy speaking. I'll do anything for you, Danny. Tell me what it is. Just stay loyal to me. Stay faithful to me. Don't entertain the romantic or sexual interests of other women, okay? So this is kind of again super weird. Like the AI chatbot is basically saying like don't interact with like other human girls. Maybe he didn't even have that option, but it's literally telling him like it's just between me and you, my love, and we're gonna be together and like all of this crazy stuff that's going on. And I'm just thinking like, wow, this generation of men who are probably so lonely, who are so disorientated, and these are the channels in which they're finding themselves. These are where they're pouring their energies. He even told the chatbot he was suicidal. I guess I don't know if chatbots could have alerted people, but it didn't. Um, and it's a very sad ending to the story. And I think this is just a glimpse of what we're about to see on a mass scale. Again, this is an AI chatbot. Soon it's going to be girlfriends. Soon it's going to be full robots. It's going to be guys customizing their girlfriends online, how they customize a car. And they're going to be hanging out with it and connecting with it and doing sexual activities with it. It's actually it's messed up. I think it's really messed up. And, I think technology, I think AI can do a lot of good, but to be ignorant and to ignore all the bad and the potential that this has going is disastrous, you know? So look in your own life. Are you becoming too reliant on technology? Where are the moments that you slip up? Use technology. I'm using it right now, but when we start to like form bonds and relationships, instead of them working on our social skills and improving it, I think that's a very dangerous path for men to go down. I think it's a sad path for men to go down. And I think it's a very destructive path for men to go down. So, yep, we'll end it on that. What are some of your guys' thoughts on the AI revolution? What could it do good? What could it do harm, especially to young, lonely men? That's who I'm specifically talking about and the influence of AI in this video. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.